History abounds with tales of hugely tall men and women, but it's only in the past couple of hundred years that we've had medical explanations for the phenomenon. Pituitary gigantism, Marfan syndrome, eunuchoid tallness, Sotos syndrome, and acromegaly are all conditions that can cause those afflicted to grow beyond the human norm. Pituitary gigantism is by far the most common cause of extreme height. It usually occurs due to over-secretion of growth hormone from cells in the pituitary gland or as a result of a tumor on the same gland at the base of the brain. Many of the world's largest individuals, from the tallest person ever, Robert Wadlow, to the world's current tallest living man. In fact, there have been 13 humans in history whose height each even exceeded 8 feet, 2.44 meters. 11. Brahim Taqiyullah. 8 feet and 1 inch, 2.46 meters. Brahim Taqiyullah is the joint second tallest living person in the world, alongside Iranian man Morteza Mirzad. Taqiyullah also holds the Guinness World Record as the owner of the world's largest feet on a living person, and the second largest in history, at over 15 inches in length. Taqiyullah was born in Morocco in 1982, and his size is the result of a tumor that affects his pituitary gland. 10. Don Kohler, Bernard Coyne and Jinnat Ali. Are all same height 8 feet 2 inches, 2.49 meters. Don Kohler. Denton, Montana-born giant Don Kohler reached an incredible height of 8 feet 2 inches. His growth was normal until the age of 10, when he suddenly shot up at an alarming rate. He was the tallest man in the world from 1969 until his death in 1981. Bernard Coyne. Bernard A. Coyne was born in Anthon, Iowa on July 27, 1897. He suffered from eunuchoidal infantile gigantism, which is an extremely rare condition commonly referred to as daddy longlegs syndrome. Coyne's exact height at the time of his death is still unconfirmed. According to his World War I registration card, he was already 8 feet tall in 1918, at which time he was just 21 years old. When he died in 1921, aged 23, Coyne measured 8 feet 2 inches, although according to some sources, he could have been as tall as 8 feet 4 inches. Jinnat Ali. Jinnat Ali was born in 1996 in Bareilly, in the village of Gorjania Union under Ramu Upazila of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, to farmer Amir Hamza and Shahampura Begum. Ali was the second of the 3 sons of his parents. He lived with his parents, a sister, and 2 brothers. Family sources stated Ali's body suddenly started to grow abnormally in childhood. His body continued to grow at the age of 23. Ali's height was predicted to keep increasing, and therefore he had to eat at least a kilogram of food every day to keep a sufficient muscle mass and healthy weight. According to MD Farida Dean, the doctor of BSMMU, Ali suffered from acromegalic gigantism, a condition caused by a tumor on his pituitary gland which caused his body to produce too much growth hormone. 9. Sultan Kosun. 8 feet 2.89 inches, 2.512 meters. At 8 feet 3 inches, Turkish part-time farm laborer Sultan Kosun is the tallest living man in the world. Like many of the other people on this list, Kosun's condition is caused by a tumor affecting his pituitary gland that has been linked to acromegaly. And as with Kohler, Kosun's growth rate was normal until the age of 10, at which point he quickly shot up to over 6 feet. The colossal Turk was unable to complete his education due to his staggering height and need to walk with crutches. An attempt to remove Kosun's tumor in 2008 was thought to have been successful, but in the end it failed to arrest his accelerated growth rate. 8. Edouard Beaupré. 8 feet 2.9 inches, 2.512 meters. Born in Saskatchewan, Canada in 1881, Edouard Beaupré also reached the incredible height of 8 feet 3 inches. As a child, Beaupré had dreams of being a cowboy, but he may have changed his mind when he turned 17 and discovered that he could lift an 800-pound horse. When he was 21, Beaupré joined Barnum and Bailey's circus as a strongman and circus freak. Towards the end of his life, Beaupré suffered from tuberculosis and felt weak and dizzy after his feats of strength. At around 1 a.m. on July 3, 1904, feeling tired, he drank a cup of tea and began coughing up blood. He was rushed to hospital but died the same night. 7. Vikas Uppal. 8 feet 3 inches, 2.51 meters. Not a lot is known about Indian giant Vikas Uppal's short life, and his tallest man claim is a controversial one. Born in the Rohtak district of Haryana in 1986, he was never officially measured by the Guinness World Records. Notwithstanding such debate, tragically, Uppal died on the operating table on June 30, 2007, when doctors tried unsuccessfully to remove a tumor from his brain. 6. Väinö Milliren. 8 feet 3 inches, 2.514 meters. Born in 1909 in Helsinki, Finland, Väinö Milliren was 7 feet 3.4 inches in tall by the time he was 21. What's more, he hit a second growth spurt in his late 30s, and by the time of his death in 1963, he was a towering 8 feet 3 inches. The Finnish colossus suffered from acromegaly, which frequently leads to gigantism and abnormal growth. Milliren was confirmed as the tallest living man in the world from 1940 until his death at the age of 54. His hands were also an incredible 15.7 inches wide, which is the largest recorded handspan in history. 5. Traincia Keever. 8 feet 4 inches, 2.54 meters. Traincia Keever was the tallest female to have ever lived and 5th tallest person in history. Keever was born in April 1616 in the small town of Edam in northwestern Netherlands. On the day of her death she measured 8 feet 4 inches, 2.54 meters. Keever very quickly in her life became a sensation due to her rapid growth. Her parents took her to carnivals where people would pay to see Traincia Keever, who was known as the De Groot Maid, the Big Girl, in the Netherlands and subsequently all over Europe. Even foreign royalty such as Frederick V, King of Bohemia, came to visit Keever. Her famous life was cut short due to cancer, however. Traincia Keever died on July 2, 1633. She was only 17 years old. 4. Leonid Stadnik. 8 feet 5 inches, 2.57 meters. Leonid Stadnik was the 4th tallest human to have ever lived. At the same time, the Ukrainian was also the tallest non-American to have ever lived. He was born on August 5, 1970 in a small village near the city of Zhytomyr in northern Ukraine, back then part of the Soviet Union. Stadnik stood 8 feet 5 inches, 2.57 meters tall. His rapid growth started after a needed brain surgery he had to go through when he was 13 years old. The surgery caused the development of a brain tumor which released abnormal amounts of growth hormones. Thankfully, the tumor did not end up being deadly, but it did cause Stadnik to grow abnormally fast. On August 24, 2014, Stadnik ultimately died from a sudden brain hemorrhage, however. He was 44. 3. John F. Carroll. 8 feet 7.5 inches, 2.63 meters. Born in 1932 in Buffalo, New York, John Carroll was referred to as the "Buffalo Giant" in medical journals. When he was 16, Carroll's incredible growth spurt kicked in, and it didn't stop until his eventual death in 1969. At one point, he reportedly grew 7 inches in a matter of months. Carroll was afflicted with acromegalic gigantism and suffered a lot during his short life, especially when it came to his spine. He had a bad case of two-dimensional spinal curvature, also known as kyphoscoliosis. In fact, Carroll's spinal curvature was so severe that it even made measuring him accurately extremely difficult. In 1968, just before his death, Carroll measured in at 7 feet 8.75 inches. However, by this stage, his spinal curvature was so extreme that it's thought his corrected height could have been just below 9 feet. 2. John Rogan. 8 feet 9 inches, 2.67 meters. At 8 feet 9 inches, John William Bud Rogan is the second tallest human being in recorded history, and the tallest of African descent. Born in Tennessee in 1868, Rogan suffered a sudden growth spurt at the age of 13 and gained height rapidly. Rogan's extreme size led to him suffering from severe ankylosis, a condition that leaves the joints stiff due to inflammation. This made it extremely difficult for him to put his weight on his feet. Initially, he could walk around with the aid of crutches, but by 1882 Rogan couldn't stand or walk at all. Always the center of attention, he was often pulled around in a goat cart that he designed himself. Rogan found it hard to work due to his condition but made a living selling pictures and postcards of himself at the local train station. He died in 1905 from complications due to his disease and was buried under a layer of concrete to stop curious scientists from digging up his body. The African American giant was not measured officially until his death, and although he was just less than 9 feet tall, he weighed in at only 175 pounds. 1. Robert Wadlow. 8 feet 11 inches, 2.72 meters. Topping our list is Robert Wadlow, the giant of Illinois. Having reached a height of 8 feet 11 inches, Wadlow is the tallest confirmed person to have ever lived. Born in Alton, Illinois in 1918, he suffered from hypertrophy of the pituitary gland, causing him to produce massive amounts of human growth hormone. This condition led to Wadlow's height constantly increasing throughout his life. By the time he was 8, he was already 6 feet 2 inches and weighed 169 pounds, 77 kilograms. The Illinois resident was so large that a special desk had to be built for him in school. Doctors at the time had no treatment for this kind of hormonal imbalance. Wadlow suffered from a number of ailments due to his unusual condition. He had trouble moving around his college campus because of his brittle bones and needed to wear leg braces towards the end of his life. He also had minimal sensation in his feet. In the end, during a professional appearance Wadlow made in Manistee, Michigan, a faulty leg brace gave him a blister that went on to become infected. Emergency surgery and blood transfusions failed to save him, and he passed away in his sleep on July 15, 1940. He was only 22 years old. Over 30,000 people attended Wadlow's funeral and 12 pallbearers were needed to carry his massive body.